Today's video is brought to you by Happy Little Hug Factory. Make sure to stop by and check them out. Hello everyone and welcome to our next set review. If you've been keeping up with the series, we're doing Lightning today, and I have the courtesy of being here with the FXBG Turks. I have Curtis and Steven. Say hi, guys.
How you doing, guys?
Cool. And before we go on, I've talked already with the Turks, and we agree we're going to use the Cactuar scale. And what that is we're going to be going rating these cards 1 to 5 Cactuar. So going on, we can just start that. Is there anything you guys want to say before we start?
No, just thanks for having us for sure, and hopefully I give my input on some of these cards and how we're going to be using them.
Awesome. So the reason I chose you guys, because I know Steven was a real strong mono lightning player back in the day, or pretty much for a long time, right?
Up until like a couple of days ago, pretty much. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
That's a little bit,
so if you guys haven't noticed from this series, I'm trying to get as many of inputs from other content creators, because I come to these guys when I need help too. Like the whole point is that I want all my listeners and everyone to get an idea what it is deck building with some of these guys. And like I said, I've come to both of these guys for a lot of opinions. We did a lot of testing at Nats, deck building and stuff and ideas, and I want you guys to know what it's like. So without further ado, we're going to start. We're going to go in numerical order, I guess, of the Lightning cards. So first up, we have 3-drop Red Mage, standard unit. When Red Mage enters the field, choose a forward of cost 3 or less your opponent controls. If the cost paid to play Red Mage included water CP, return it to its owner's hand. For 2 Lightning, you can tap Red Mage and put him into the break zone to choose a forward of cost 4 or less and break it. As you've seen, we've been talking about these cards, and I feel like they're kind of stuck to that whatever element it's asking for. I'm going to start with Steven here. Steven, what do you think about this card?
I actually really like this card, and I think this card deserves something better than the common slot. I mean, you're clearly playing it in Water Lightning, but it gives you what both Water and Lightning are known for. So it gives you the balance that Water has, but also gives this card the utility of a 4 CP Odin, pretty much. Yep. Granted, you're paying 3 to put it on the board, and then you're paying another 2 and tapping and breaking itself. So you're really paying 3 to 7 CP for it, but you're getting 2 different effects out of it. You're getting the killing a 4-drop, and then you're bouncing something while you're at it as well. So I think this card's really good. Only thing I don't like about it is that it is a forward, so you can remove it.
Yeah, but I guess for the first effect it doesn't matter, but you can respond. Yeah. You can always respond with the breaking something 4 or less too, so that's okay too. Curtis, what do you think?
I actually like the card a lot as well. Like with the Stanky deck, the Water Lightning.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be pretty good for that, because the whole theory of the deck is just like a lot of aggression and just getting rid of like problem blockers by like either dulling, cards when you swing and things like that, or Fanfare plays. So this one's going to be pretty good for that kind of tempo play style. You just basically get rid of like a certain card, and that's another body that they have to deal with. And then once they do have something to get over this, or like over all the aggression, you just pop this and break it. So I do like this card a lot. The only thing I don't like is that it's 5k, but it still does what it needs to do. So
it is standard unit too, so that kind of leaves it in that realm where we can always have some kind of buff for it. I know Water has things for standard units, so going with that in any Water Lightning variant, it's going to be possible. What do you guys want to give this? How many Cactuars are we going?
I'm giving it like 3 or 4 Cactuars. I mean, I really like this card.
Curtis?
I give it a solid 3.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think we can, safe to say it's a 3, where although it does have a lot of versatility, it is stuck to the Water Lightning, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's preventing me from giving anything higher. So let's move on. We have Argy, or RG. When Argy is put from the field into the break zone, select 3 of the following actions. Choose a forward, it gains haste until the end of the turn. Choose a forward, activate it. Choose a backup of cost 1 in your break zone, play it onto the field. So it's a 2-cost backup. Curtis, I'll start with you here. What do you think about this one?
So this card has some pretty cool tricks to it, but it kind of depends on like what you pair it up with. So right off the bat, this is going to go well with the 5-drop Lulu, and you can actually go back to what we are talking about with like Water Lightning with Red Mage. If you play Water Lightning with this card and you do like 5-drop Lulu, pop this to deal something 5k, this goes to Break Zone, and then you could bring back like Yagarash from the new set, which is a 1-drop, and then you could bounce back like any backup like the Exdeath, which we'll probably talk about later on in the set. So there's a lot of tricky plays like that, but other than that, this card's not too great in my opinion. There's a couple more cards that get rid of backups, but I don't think there's enough to like really make this card stand out. But it just has like a few little neat tricks, but right now I don't think it's going to be like too groundbreaking or anything like that.
Do you think it needed to give something haste until the end of the turn?
Not really, to be honest, because Lightning already has a lot of stuff with haste anyways. But
And my thought process with it giving something haste to the end of the turn, right, is you're playing something. So right off the bat, paid whatever cost that forward was, put it on the board. And now you're triggering an ability to break a backup. That sounds like a very cost-effective turn. Like you're paying a lot for this because you're still losing you're still losing a backup. So you're not. Granted, you may be pinging something for 5k with the Lulu, but and you're giving something to haste. But it sounds like it can be very. So I'm not saying that it's bad, but I don't. It's the same issue that we had with the Red Mage, where it's stuck to the Water Lightning deck. This card is stuck to a very specific build, and it's not a very versatile card.
Yeah, because like right now, in my opinion, to get the most versatility out of it, it's gonna either be with like Water Lightning, Mono Lightning with Lulu, or it's gonna be like Fire Lightning with the new Lulu.
So either way with Lulu.
Yeah, either way, it's gonna be Lulu. Because I mean, like I guess you could play like Lightning Earth and do this and do 3-drop Delita from Opus 1 and pop it and give your Delita haste, but like let's be real,
Yeah.
You probably don't really want to do that too much. But I don't know, like with those fun tricks with Exdeath, that might be something worth exploring. But if Turbo's still going to be like a big thing, you might not even have time to like set all that up. So
Okay. I think the last little thing I want to talk about this card is I think it's cool for Lightning to have something to activate a forward. But if we're talking about how it's, I think we all think it's going to be stuck to like maybe a water variant with this deck. So water already has something to activate forwards. But I think it's nice to see Lightning have that option in it now, in its kit a little bit. So what are we going to give this? 2 or 3? I feel like we're...
I think I'm going to give it a 2, but I think we're also being generous with giving it a 2.
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
I would just give it a 2 because I mean it's not like worthless, so I'm not going to give it 1.
Okay.
But I just don't think it's going to be too useful right now, at least at this time. So I just give it a 2.
Okay, you got it. Let's move on then. 2 Cactuars here. And this is the Exdeath we were talking about. 6 cost backup. When Exdeath enters the field, choose a forward from either player's break zone. If its cost is equal to or less than the number of backups you control, play it onto the field. I don't know, I think we saw this spoiled to us a while back.
I think this was one of the first cards that was spoiled, actually.
This card is insane. I absolutely love it. I think this is what brought me to want to play Lightning in this set. Steven, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
I actually really like this card. The only thing that I don't like about it is how we are limited to 5 backups. We're limited to 5 backups in the game right now, because I would really like to have this to play a day. But you know what I mean? I'm just really obsessed with that card for some reason. But it'd be pretty sweet, like to play this and then this be your 5th backup, so you just pop in an Estinian and kind of apply pressure that way. And then taking like your opponent's forwards is also pretty neat, just because, I mean, depending on what the match would be, that may be pretty critical in having their own forwards against them. I really like it. I would maybe play 2 of at most though in Mono Lightning, just because it is a 6 cost backup, and like all the Lightning decks I play are really low on the curve when it comes to backups. It's like a lot of 2-drop backups, 2 3-drop, and then a 4.
Okay. Curtis?
Yeah, I like this card a lot, and I just think it gives Mono Lightning a lot of versatility because you can take other people's stuff too. So like if you're playing against Wind, you can always take their Y'shtola to protect your board and things like that. So like not only can you get back like Estinians and things like that of that nature too, or like your Zemuses again, but you can actually like depending on the matchup you're playing against, like take their best cards and just kind of supplement your strategy with it. So I like this card a lot.
Okay. So what are we giving this?
Um,
4, 5, a solid 5.
Yeah, I love this card, man.
yeah, this card's good.
All right, we'll give it 5.
Card is good.
Crackers.
I wouldn't have been upset if this card
Had what? I'm sorry, I lost you there for a sec.
I wouldn't have been upset if this card had the legend.
Oh yeah, I agree. We'll talk about the legends when we get there. But yeah, I agree. This card is probably maybe even a hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at least hero.
It's definitely strong enough to be up in there. All right, so let's move on. We have Gilgamesh. Now this is the first legendary we have for Lightning. For each card named Gilgamesh in your break zone, Gilgamesh gains 1,000 power. If Gilgamesh has 10,000 power or more, Gilgamesh gains Brave and can attack twice in the same turn. When Gilgamesh is put from the field into the break zone, you may pay XCP. If you do, search for one card named Gilgamesh of cost X and play it onto the field. Now that's a mouthful. It definitely has a lot of effects. Curtis, I'll start with you on this one.
Sure. So, constructor-wise, I don't think this card is going to be too useful. Like, you really can only play this in like a Golbez deck to get the most versatility out of it, because Golbez plays like every single Gilgamesh in the game pretty much. So it's not hard to get his power up to 10,000. It is pretty good if he dies. You could bring back like Strongest Sword from the break zone. But other than that, no other deck really plays Gilgamesh right now. So this is pretty much just a niche pick. For title, it's going to be good for Final Fantasy V because you can actually play all the Gilgameshes in that too. But right now in Constructed, I don't think it's going to see too much play.
Are all the Gilgameshes from 5? Because I know 13 has one.
13, I think.
Yeah, all of them are from 5 except for the one that boosts himself by 1,000.
Yeah, that's the 13 one, right? That was the starter deck one, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's only one 13 one, and then the rest of them.
Yeah, the rest of them are 5.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's interesting. So in terms of the Golbez Gilgamesh deck, do you think does this card help it enough for this meta, or for the meta in general? Like, is it going to see play a lot more play, or is it going to be like something you take to locals for fun and try to like weasel your way out? Curtis,
My take on
Steven. No, Steven's fine. It doesn't matter.
Well, my take on it would be, it is very shaped on how the meta goes. So if people are playing a lot of that 2-drop Una, then yeah, I think you can see more Golbez. There's a pretty neat trick for that because you can also play this from cracking the Golbez because it is a 2-drop. But I mean, 5-drop Una is still a very real card, so it would be pretty bad if that card is still played and then Golbez is if you're playing Golbez and you run into that card, it's like, okay, my main win con or my main strategy is kind of out the window, and then you got to find other ways to do about it. But the Strongest Sword is also strong in itself just by using it, so you can go the Strongest Sword route and kind of hop your opponents forwards that way.
Okay.
And then like if Turbo is still a big thing, like and this Gilgamesh dies, you still have to have 4 CP to play the Gilgamesh for Strongest Sword from the break zone. So like if they're going off and then you're strapped without cards, you probably won't even have enough CP to play it again. So I don't think that right now Golbez is going to make like a big comeback. Like I think people are going to play the Golbez deck just because it's new format and they want to try it out, but I don't think it's going to like be something that stays for the entire format.
Okay. So what are we going to give this? I feel like you guys are leaning towards a 2 or 3.
I'm at a 2. I'm at a 2 with the card for sure.
Yeah, Curtis?
I'm actually upset that the card has the legend slot.
Curtis, I didn't what did you give it?
I gave it a 3.
A 3?
It's not a bad card. Like it probably won't have too much like application, I guess, in the meta, but like for what it does, it's pretty decent.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. Kurel. Put Kurel into the break zone. Choose a forward until the end of the turn. It gains 3,000 power, haste, first strike, and brave. You can discard Kurel, choose a monster of cost 1, break it. You can only use this ability if Kurel's in your hand. I'll start with Steven on this one. What do you think about this one?
I like this card a lot. Card's good.
Tell me why.
You can threaten with. I mean, Lightning doesn't have any strong forwards. I mean, everything. Most of your forwards are capped out at like 7K with Lulu because most of them are 6,000 power. The exception of like Zemus, Stidian.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're playing like the 13 Gilgamesh that we were just talking about, but most of your good majority of your forwards are like between 6,000 and 7,000 power. So this gives you more threatening standpoint on the board, saying, hey, at any point I can pop it. This is going to be whether it be 10, 11, 12K, however strong they are. So it kind of gives you more threat when you're swinging in.
Okay. Curtis?
Yeah, I think this card is actually like really, really good. Like Steven says, it lets your weaker stuff trade up, and like it makes even like Rigdia like a big threat when it comes to combat. Also with like Ramza from the previous, what was it, Opus 5 Legend. If you just use this on that, you could pretty much satisfy its need to be 10K and just kill something real quick. So that's pretty decent too. The second effect though is what I kind of like about it: the destroying a monster at cost 1. Like depending on how the meta shapes up, and if Earth Wind is still a big thing, this card gives you an out to Cactar. Also, yeah. And then if Mono Wind ends up being a thing, like with the Yuri activations and stuff like that, like this would give you an out to Layak as well, rather than just having to remove it. But I think this card is actually pretty versatile because you can actually play it like in every other color too, because you could just discard from your hand if that becomes a meta, like a lot of Cactars and shit like that. So like you could be playing like Ice and you can still splash this in and it doesn't really hurt you at all because you could always just use it as part of CP cost to play like a 3-drop or something like that. So like it gives you like an ability to like side deck without really having to side deck, if that makes sense, depending on like how everything shapes up.
I agree with you there. I like that it can go well. If we're thinking of other decks that use monsters in general, anything with what's the name, Urianger?
Yep, I was about to get into that. Yep.
So
Scions,
adding it to Scions, or even like any variant that just plays him for. Well, it would have to be Scions, I guess, if you want it to reach the 2. The 2 cost.
Flandit's a 1-drop, right?
Yeah, Flandit's a 1-drop.
So that's another good card to get rid of too.
Yeah. So he's going to see play, and I think he'll go nicely into a Scion deck right now as well. I think we can give this card a solid 3, no? Or do you guys think it deserves more than a 3?
I would be okay with a 4, but I could give it like a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm at a 4 with it because, like Curtis was mentioning, you can. I don't know if you would have really necessarily played in the Stanky deck just because that deck is really aggro and fast, and this may be a little slow, but you can play it in like Water Lightning with the Lulu backup. You can play it like anything Lightning X really, because this card will just threaten points of damage. It doesn't have to necessarily be for Mono Lightning. Card's good.
So I guess to think about it in perspective, it's like a 4 for you, Steven, means it's making its way into your regular builds, right? Is that how you?
I like me saying that it's a 4 means that if I'm playing anything purple, I'm at least considering on how this card would fit in the Lightning X deck or just Mono Lightning deck.
Yeah.
It's something to consider.
Yeah, I guess we could just kind of explain like how we're gonna rank them. I guess like in my mind, if it's a 1, it's just useless.
Right.
2 would be like cute but not useless. 3 would be like, pretty good, like just average. 4 is something like I would think about putting in like an actual Mono Lightning deck or like any deck that I would play Lightning in. 5 is something that I would build a deck around.
Okay.
So.
All right. So then we can give it a 4 then, I think.
Yeah. Because I think this card is good enough that if you're playing Lightning, you're at least, if it's not in the deck, you at least looked at it and you tested with it and kind of felt it out before you kind of scratch it up.
Okay. All right, let's move on then. We have 4-cost Gladiator, standard unit. Forward, when your opponent casts a summon, Gladiator gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. I'll go with Curtis on this one.
So, this card's not too great. I wouldn't say it's useless though. Like, if they end up doing like what they did for Gen Con, where you can get an invite off of playing Sealed, like this card is actually pretty decent in Sealed. because there's not much removal in Opus 7, and if they do play any summons, it kind of caps at 8k. So this by itself in seal is actually pretty good because it's really hard to get rid of it. But in anything else, it's probably not going to see much play at all. Like, the only good thing about it is that it's on curve. Other than that, it's not really going to do anything.
Okay. Steven?
I agree with that. I do like that it is on curve right off the bat. But we have like an inside joke going on about me saying that cards are on curve. But the other card, I like it. It's on curve. So that's why he's laughing at me. But yeah, I like it. And I think that when it comes to sealed, I would draft this card all day long if I'm playing purple for sure. But again, it's not something that you would see in constructed. At least I don't see myself playing this in constructed. It's cute, but it's still...
It's not there, right? It's lackluster at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can agree that it's a 2, right? Two Cactuars?
Yeah, 2 characters for sure.
All right, let's go on then. The Emperor, 5 cost. His job is Emperor. When the Emperor enters the field, choose 2 forwards your opponent controls. Dull them. During your turn, when a forward opponent controls becomes dull, choose 1 active forward opponent controls. Deal it 3,000 damage. Steven?
I actually like this a lot. It gives you opportunity to close out games that are kind of close, and both of you have a big, strong forward presence later in the game. Like dulling 2, pinging something for 6. Then you can either stack additional damage or Lua special, bringing them down by another 2. Like 8. It just gives you more options. Because I look at this card and I think of Shiva, and I think I like the card a lot.
Okay, so you would say, how would you? Let me see.
I would consider putting at least 1 for sure in a mono lightning deck. I would test 2.
See, he read my mind. I didn't even have to ask him. This is why I come to these guys.
I would test 2, but I definitely am putting 1.
So, how do you feel the fact that it has to choose 2 forwards? Like, does that make it less powerful or still the same? You still feel the same about it?
I wish it said up to 2.
Of course.
I wish it set up to 2, but I think I'm gonna play it to try and close out the game anyway. I'm not gonna just throw this card on the board. So I guess I'm gonna use it when I need to. So I'm gonna make sure I get.
And to bounce off of that, like, I don't really care so much that it says choose 2 because I'm just gonna pitch it and then play with Zemus once I need it. It's just more of like a toolbox card to me. But the whole deal 3k when things get dull is actually pretty sweet. Just like added cherry on top. Also, it's 9k, so like it's really fucking big.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah. For your podcast, yeah. I should have probably put a.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll keep it down then. But,
Yeah, it's okay.
It's 9k, so it's like really strong. Lulu is gonna pump him up to 10. So even if you don't get to dull 2 things, like he's just there. So like if you're in a pinch, you could just drop him, and then now they have to deal with the 10k guy. But I'd probably just save him for like the coup de grace at the end, with Zemus, and just swing with everything else.
So is he a 1 of or a 2 of?
In my opinion, just a 1.
Okay.
I definitely agree with the 1. I would test 2 though, because like I would hate to like have him at the bottom of the deck, and you just don't see him, and you really want to see him to close out the game. So sometimes you're stuck in a face off where like your board state's pretty good -2, and we can't get any across. So this gives you like that extra push to get it through.
So I personally consider like 5 drops like boss monsters almost for like decks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think this one replaces your current boss for lightning, or is you're gonna fit him in there with the rest of them?
I think so. Astinian was a 3 of, and I think I would, if I make Astinian a 2 of, throw this in there. I'm also going to play King of Bermesia to compensate and give me the tutor for Thin.
Okay.
So I there's just other ways to look around it. Like I'm going to find a way to either toolbox one or the other. But
so now if we're looking at cost 2, adding this and Exdeath is effectively making the overall cost of lightning more expensive. How do you feel about that, Curtis?
I personally don't think it's too much of a problem, especially with like the Exdeath and the 5-drop Emperor, because the deck that me and Steven made for the thing that gave him his LCQ win, a lot of the backups in that were just like 2-drops and a couple of 1-drops, I think, if my memory serves me right. It's really fast anyways with like backups, and the way Steven plays it, he just forgoes like most of his hand size and just focuses on ramping, and then it doesn't matter what he has because he could just play anything that he wants. So you're going to be able to build up backups regardless, depending on how you build your deck. And if you just save that last slot to be that Exdeath, then automatically you get to pull out any 5-drop from either player's grave. And then the same token, as long as you get 3 really early, which isn't hard, you can just play the Emperor whenever you want. And then from there, you can start doing things.
Opus 5, I was very against Summoner, the 1 CP lightning backup. I just didn't like it. And but I played with it a lot in Opus 3 when I first played Model. So I really do like getting the 1 backup on the board as fast as possible. Opus 6, I did play with 2 of the Summoners. And if I'm going to increase the curve on the forwards or the backup of the deck, I'm going to compensate with also lowering it. So instead of playing 2 of the Summoners, I may play the 3rd to make sure I'm getting backups on there quick to make sure I can afford to pay 5 CP for this or 6 CP for the Exdeath.
Okay. Well, the value's there, I think, in the Exdeath. I'm not sure. Me personally, I'm not sure the value is there unless it is closing for the Emperor. What do you guys want to rate this, though? We say 4, right? Because we're considering it always.
Yeah, like I'd say like maybe 3.5 or 4, but I wouldn't feel bad if it was a 4.
You guys are gonna hate me for this.
Really?
Don't you dare say 5, man.
Because I know I'm playing card.
No, but you're not gonna build a deck around this. That's
I'm not. You're right. I'm not building a deck around this, but I know this card is. I'm playing at least. I'm making room for it, no matter what.
Okay.
Model.
So we're not doing.
So let's give it a 4. Let's give it a 4.
I'll let you give it a 4.5 because you're strong about it.
Yeah, 4.5. Let's 4.5 cactus.
All right. All right, let's move on. Tankard, Scions of the 7th Dawn. When Tankard enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls. Dull it. I lost to this in the pre-release. It was so tilting. When Tankard enters the field, because I didn't know this card existed yet. When Tankard enters the field until the end of the turn, if the CP paid to play Tankard was only produced by category 14 backups, Tankard gains 2,000 power, haste, and first strike. That is a mouthful.
I would be so mad.
While Steven's laughing there. Curtis, what do you think about this?
I personally think that this card in Constructed is just very bad.
Bad, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you'd play this in Constructed at all, because like the 4 CP Tankard is just better, period.
Really? Okay.
With Scions, at least, I think, in my opinion. Title, it's going to be good because it gives you an extra Scion target, and then you can dull stuff. And then obviously, since you're only playing category 14, it's going to have the extra buffs to it. But like in Standard, I'd rather just play 4 CP Tankard and just start swinging with that 9k guy, and then just causing problems with that instead of just a 6k dull. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be too great constructed.
Steven?
I agree that it
really wow.
I agree that it's not a 4 cost Tankard. It's not as good as 4 cost Tankard, but I am giving it more credit than you're giving it right now because it is you're dulling it, and you are easily going to get off the haste and first strike with it. So it gives you another body.
No, you're not going to easily get the haste and first strike because if you read the card, it says only produced by category 14 backups.
Your Manphilia, Krill. Not Semi.
Why would you play this card in like an actual Scion deck though? Like that means you're taking out spaces for like walls and Aluas, and then you have to play this Tankard, or you're taking out other Tankards to play this Tankard. I just don't see anyone doing that, in my opinion.
So
you can if you're not dedicating all the slots. Third version of it with the Urianger, because I think that you're not playing Urianger unless you're playing like the mob. You have other slots there, and you just don't go too heavy on like the EX per summons. You can play this. I mean, I'm not saying that it's great, but I am giving it like whatever you rate it. I'm giving it 1 higher.
So, me personally, I like this card. So we already add the Amon into the deck for helping us dull things. I like the other Tankard, yeah. But I think to increase like Ida's potential, I guess, I think I like this Tankard a lot more. Me personally, I'd probably play this one more than the other one. I do like the strength of the other one. I guess he's a 9k, damage reduction. But I think Ishtola covers that. The Earth Ishtola cover is strong enough for that. And then I'm always playing the summons anyway, so I think this is just... He makes Ida... Like, I have more options for Ida now, and Ida's like the whole deck, in my opinion. So, I don't know. That's just me.
I do like it. I don't think it's better than the 4 cost, just because the 4 cost is swinging up to 11Ks. But he's definitely a lot better than...
He's not as big of a threat, you're right, but he does make the deck... he helps the combo anyway. So it does have its pros and cons. I think... What are you saying, Curtis? 2?
Yeah, I would say
because it's cute, right? It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
Steven? 3 then?
Yeah, I'm giving it 3 cactuars.
3 cactuars. I'll say 3 as well. We can move on, though. Zapped. Zapped is also a monster in all situations. When Zapped is put from the field into the break zone, you may search for one card named Ramu and add it to your hand. Do we need more Ramu search? Do we need a Ramu search that bad, though? Is this going to take up space in my deck, Steven?
Ramu's good, bro.
Huh?
Ramu's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good for the mirror. It's really good against Wind Earth. Honestly, it depends on where the meta shapes. Like if Wind Earth is still pretty dominant, which it looks like there's a lot of monster hate in this. You got the legend that wipes
Sin?
everything.
Sin?
You have Sin. You have the monster that we just reviewed earlier, the Kuro or Koro. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but we just reviewed it earlier.
Kuro.
And then this searching out the remote, so then pop off a monster. It just depends on where the meta shapes. So if Wind is still dominant or mono Wind is going to be with the layout, I think play at least one of or 2 of these. One of.
So I'm going to stop you there, though, because we're not gone through the whole list. And I know the card we're going to talk about next is effectively going to undo this. But I don't think this card is necessary. Curtis, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boats as you. Like, I don't think this card is too useful in Mono Lightning. And I know the card that you're going to talk about next. But I think Alricia from the last set already did this job for it. And that's what we did in our build with the Idea build that we made for the LCQ. You already have ways to search for summons, and it's already a toolbox deck. You just get rid of one, and then you just search out the remove if you really need it. But I don't think you need to search for any summons in this deck because, like you said, the next card we're going to talk about is going to do that for you. And then Alricia already does it anyways.
Yeah.
So you already have the tools, and unlike Fire that has the one that searches Ifrit or the one that searches for Shiva, like Lightning doesn't really need that extra removes in your hand because like Fire, sure, you need another Ifrit to bounce off of the other Ifrits that require you to discard. For Mono Ice, you need the Shiva because that helps you win for like Turbo. But like this one, you don't need it, period, just because you already have cards that do stuff other than take a spot for like the monsters, well, the hordes in this case. You just already have backups that search out for you and they can tap for mana. So I just think Lightning has better utilities for what this card's trying to do.
I think I'm open to the idea of maybe a 1-0, Steven, and I'll tell you why. Zemus, I like it when Zemus can bring back 2 drops just to help build a little board. Maybe if you're behind or even if you're like just trying to close out a game to party attack in the end. And I'm okay if this ends up becoming a chump blocker for the Ramu to help close out the game. And I think that's the only way I'll fit one in there. But if removing from play ends up becoming more of a problem, this one of is going to be pointless, right?
I agree.
So I think we can give it a 2 because it's cute, and I mean that literally.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to talk about when it comes to Risha, which I love that card. Sure, that card definitely made the deck a lot better in Opus 5 for Mono Lightning.
Okay.
But you're losing a summon. You're still discarding a summon to get it. This, you're just positive. You're just netting a card out of the deck rather than trading and going.
And I guess
so. That's the only debate when it comes to Risha compared to.
And I guess if you think about it too, he's free, right? You pay 2 to get a card, so like he'll eventually net you the card, like you said. So he's effectively free. So there is that. It does have its pros. All these new little World of Final Fantasy / monster characters are useful in that regard. But I would agree in the end that I don't think Lightning needs it. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I'm sure someone's gonna splash one in, like we said, just because it's cute. So let's move on. And the card I wanted to talk about, which is, I think we can all agree, is by far one of the better cards of the set, probably, is when Seymour 2 cost, when Seymour enters the field, search for 1 summon and put it on top of your deck. Lance of Atrophy, S, and 2 Lightning, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a summon, you may cast it without paying the cost. Now that seems...
Card is broken.
All right, so I'm going to start with Curtis, though. Curtis, tell me how do you feel about this card, and tell me what's the best thing you can think of to do with it. Go.
So this card is absolutely amazing. I think everyone's going to default to Raiden at this point, because I think Raiden is probably one of the best summons in the game, but the cost of it is just off-putting a lot of the times. But with like Seymour in this situation, you put Raiden on the top and you have another one in hand, you're basically only really paying 6 CP in total. Technically, you pay the Seymour, put it on top, then do the effect, then you get to play for free and get rid of 2 stuff.
Yep.
So that by itself is really good. But other than Mono Lightning, you can do this like Fire Lightning if that ever becomes a thing. Like Bahamut off the top is pretty strong.
Phoenix.
Yeah, like the 7 drop one that gives you a free forward and does something AK. Diabolos could be good. There's just a whole slew of summons that would be really good with this, and it just opens up a lot of deck building ideas. This is definitely something that I've thought about, like trying to build something around, which would like get the most bang for this buck. So I think it's really good.
Steven.
I love this thing. I see this card in Mono Lightning. I see this card in Earth Lightning. I see the card in Water Lightning. Like, that card is amazing. Like, I can, if you can get off a Raiden off of this, it's pretty sweet. And if like what I'm thinking behind it, if you're going like, let's say, Earth Lightning Lulu, you can try and potentially get this off multiple times. And then if you're going the Water Lightning as well, you can get it off multiple times. You don't even have to have Lulu for that, because the new Titus coming. Mm-hmm. You can bounce a character to, you can play it, do what you need to do, and then like you play this card, you do it once, and then you can Titus it later on, and then set that up again, because Titus lets you bounce a character. So I love this card, and I would definitely try to build a deck around.
Yeah, the possibilities are actually endless with this card. As we were both mentioning different color types, and honestly, as long as you're playing any Lightning variant, this card I feel is going to be in your deck, because unless you're playing no summons monsters, this is going to stick around for the long run. And I think you guys
plus it's experts too.
Yeah, which is just unnecessary but great already.
Yeah. So if you're playing like Mono Lightning, if you don't want to get hit anymore, you could just stack Odin on top and just be like, all right, hit me again, I dare you.
I dare you, I double dare you.
Yeah.
All right, so it's safe to say this is going to be 5 Cactuars from us?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We can move on, though. Sid Previa. This is another card I had no idea. I thought it was funny when I saw it in the pre-release and stuff. When Sid Previa enters the field, choose a Lightning backup of cost 0 less in your break zone. Play it onto the field. Lightning tap, put Sid Previa into the break zone. Choose a forward, deal it 2,000 damage. What do you guys think? I'll start with Curtis this time.
So I don't think that this card is so great right now. Like, on the top of my head, like obviously this is supposed to pair off with another card in the set that we'll be talking about down the line. But other than that, like maybe Fusoya is probably the better choice to deal something 5k and then break that and get a forward back again. But the fact that this is a 6-drop, at this point I wouldn't want to put this in like a Mono Lightning deck or anything like that, because I think it would impact the curve at that point if we're going to be playing like Exdeath and Emperor or anything like that as well. But I don't see too much usage for this right now at this time, though.
Okay, Steven?
I would agree. The only target that I can think of the top of my head, not including stuff from this set that you would get back, would be like the Lightning Soya. But other than that, I don't see me even looking at this card and considering it unless someone else has done the work for me and proved it to be viable. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna look at putting the card in the line deck.
Okay.
Someone out there prove me otherwise that it's worth it.
Anyone listening, put it in the comments. I want to know what you guys think about this one. We'll give it a, I don't know, does it deserve a 2? It's not even cute.
I'm not looking at it.
So it's a 1, right? So it's a 1 to you?
And why is it a hero? Why is it a hero?
Maybe there's definitely something there we might not be seeing. We'll just give it a 1 and move on, I guess. Because it's not on our radar.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other legendary. We have Noel. Haste Commando, category 13. When Noel enters the field, until the end of your turn, Noel gains 3,000 power. And when Noel deals damage to your opponent, choose one forward your opponent controls, break it. Let's go, Steven.
I don't like.
You don't like it. Why?
Because it costs 6. After the first turn, it's only 6,000. It's a legend. So it took away the legend slot. That was so like they didn't put no respect on Seymour's name for giving this guy the legend slot. I honestly, if you are playing this card, I think you would only play one of anyway. I wouldn't see anyone trying to play with more than that just because it is expensive. Yes, you are going to do it. You are going to get him to 9k and get a point of damage across. And if you do, well, then you get to break something. But, well, with Lulu, he's a 10k. But there's many other cards that I would rather put in the deck that have the cost. So I wouldn't, like you mentioned earlier, like each card has like the boss slots.
Mm-hmm.
If you your boss cards. This is not worth one of those slots, in my opinion.
I agree. Curtis?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Steven. Like, this card is definitely not great in any standard because it loses its effect and it just becomes a vanilla card basically after that first turn. Like, I guess what they're trying to go for was like just bring it back with Zemus, and then every turn you're threatening stuff with like breaking and boosting power.
That would have to, like, it would have to die though, right? Like,
yeah, it would have to die for one, and then also you would have to keep on paying 6 CP, and then I don't want to do that, and I'm not sure anyone else would really want to do that. I think personally that this card is best just for flip it and rip it. But other than that,
yes. I would rip the card hard.
I wouldn't feel bad ripping this card and flip it or rip it, so
it wouldn't hurt me at all.
So is it cute enough for a 2, or is it not?
Nah, this is straight garbo, man.
Straight garbo?
Wow.
I'm not looking at this card.
Straight garbage from the Turks. You heard it here, guys. Don't play this card.
So here's, like, there's one thing that can make this card a 2 from a 1.
What is
and
it?
If it also gained Brave as part of like the ETB.
Yeah, so it
because
would stay on.
then you can block with it next turn and let it die.
Well, you could play Coral and then give it Brave.
12.
Stop.
With 3K.
Stop. You're not. Stop.
That's what you need. That's what you asked for.
Let's go.
That's the only thing that would make it like. I would potentially play it if it did get Brave, so I could just block with it and let it die. But other than that, like, I'm not. Can't believe.
Yeah, I do. I think the only real like point like that I liked that we talked about was that maybe you can bring it back once, or even when people least expect it with Zemus. But effectively, it is just super expensive, and I'd rather bring an Estinian out for less and have more threat. Because removing one forward, like getting 1 point of damage and breaking it forward is nice, but attacking twice or destroying 2 forwards, it's better, right? Like, we can agree on that. So,
yeah, I'd rather play Twilight Odin.
Yeah, and I'd rather play Twilight Odin at my own discretion. So, yeah, I want to say it's cute, but I'll back you guys up on the 1. Let's get off of it, though.
Yeah, I don't really want to.
There's better cards here to talk about. 4-cost Barbara. I know a lot of people love this card, and I'm sure you guys do too. The Job Dragoon and card named Dragoon you control gain haste. For 1 color CP, choose Job Dragoon or card named Dragoon other than Barbara. It gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Curtis, take it away.
So I like this card. Obviously, the fact that everything that has Dragoon in it is going to get haste, so like that's going to be super strong. I do like the fact that it's one colorless to give them a 1,000 boost, and it's not like something that has to tap either, so you can just basically keep on paying and keep on boosting. Uh, I don't know how useful it's going to be, just because as much as Okamoto likes Dragoons, like no one's really playing that in the meta. But maybe if that ever picks up, then this card will be definitely the linchpin of that deck.
She gives herself haste, obviously, right?
Yeah, she gives herself haste, and that's actually pretty good in the pre-release too. So
yeah, that's all right. Steven?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think that Alizé probably makes the whole Scion deck because everything has haste.
Right.
And I feel like this card can do the same for Dragoons. The only thing that's not good about it is that it is a forward.
It's less
instead
safe.
of a backup.
Yeah.
So it's just less safe. But it's still, it'll make me want to like I played Dragoons back in Opus 3. I tested the deck out. And this will make me put the deck together and play with it and see where it's. I do like this card a lot.
I think
and it does a lot for the deck. I don't think it makes it a meta deck yet, but it does a lot to improve it.
Okay. Trickster stops it though, right? Trickster just says, "Nah, bro, get lost, get lost,
Yeah,
get
Trickster
lost,
also to stop Scion.
get lost, nerd."
Get lost, nerd. Later, geek.
So we'll give it a 3 because it's like it has to be. It's useful, but it has to like stay to the Dragoons, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Flamberg. When a forward of cost 3 less your opponent controls is put from the field into the break zone, Flamberg also becomes a forward with 7,000 power. And if Flamberg is put from the field into the break zone, you may search for one job militarized Flan and add it to your hand. This effect is not end, blah, blah, blah. That's the new mechanic that these forwards in this set have. I'll start with Steven. First of all, how do you like this card? And second of all, how do you feel about this mechanic where they have like, I guess, prerequisites before they become forwards?
Yeah, I kind of like the idea. It's kind of like a flip over card once something is met without really having to flip it over. To meet this and then it permanently becomes forward. I think it's pretty cool, and it kind of gives a new element to the game. As far as this card goes, I'm not saying it's a bad card, but I really wouldn't build around it unless someone kind of showing that it worth the results. I'm not too crazy about it that I would.
Okay, that's fair. Curtis?
So I do like the whole mechanic of the flip monsters that turn into forwards. Personally, I think that this one is probably the second slowest one out of all the flip monsters in the set. I'd say Condor is the slowest one, and this would be the next step up. Just because like you have to rely on the fact that a 4 to 3 cost or less has to die before it actually activates. And lightning definitely has a lot of break effects, but like, you know, if you're planning on using this and using more copies, like you would have to wait until you get something to break it, and that might take a long time depending on how they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really see myself using this card at all, because that means you have to run like 2 or 3 to really get the value out of it. Because so what if you get a 7K, you have to search another one out, and then that means you have to keep on playing them, and then like just having a bunch of 2-drop 7Ks that only turn into monsters will turn to forwards if you kill something probably isn't going to be too consistent. Like the only cute thing that I can think of is like Urianger to bring out Deep Fern to break a 3-drop or less,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of keep on doing that and then playing the flans. But even then, that's not like game breaking at all. So that's just like something fun.
Okay.
I don't think it deserves 3. Like you're playing this, I feel like you're playing the 3, and I don't think it deserves 3.
Okay. I think for me this opens up a better water lightning monster build. He is a 2-cost target for Gao, and I think he might not because he's in that little sweet spot for like to be destroyed by most effects. Allowing you to search another one and add it to your hand helps thin out your deck too. So I like some of his. I agree with you that it is the slowest of the other of the effects, of the flip effects, I guess you would call them, or you guys are calling them anyway. But to me, I think it's okay. It's almost like a pseudo haste too. Like if he's been out a turn already, or if you bring him out and then your next turn you attack and your opponent blocks. Of course, let's say you're fighting Layla Viking, they're gonna block anyway, right? Then He's been out already, so he's like ready to go in again. So I don't know. I like him a lot actually. I do agree he's slow. I don't think I'd give him more than a 2, like a rating, but I like him.
Yeah, I'd be okay with the 2.
Okay, Steven 2.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
All right.
2 Cactuars.
All right. Canyoneer, 2 cost backup, standard unit, lightning, tap, put Canyoneer and a forward into the break zone. Choose a forward, deal at 7,000.
Oh, wait, whoa. I did not read that right.
Put Canyoneer and 1 forward into the break zone. That's usually yours. For if it's cost, it's yours, right?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be.
Yeah, never mind. I put Canyoneer into the break zone, choose 1 forward, deal at 7K.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no.
Nope, never mind. I was so happy about it for a second.
Yeah, no.
I'm so disappointed.
I don't like this card. This is
Really?
like
I think this card is actually really good.
awesome. I'd love to hear why. Please tell everyone why.
All right, so like back to the stanky deck.
Got it.
Like if you're playing like Water Lightning, this is actually really good because you can do like Layla Viking, draw a card, and then use this pop off Viking, deal something 7K, which is usually gonna kill most stuff in the format because no one's really playing buffs anymore. Draw a card out of that, and then just get like 3 points of damage in with everything else. So it helps with the whole aggression plan. Definitely good tempo card if you play, and if like you can even use this in like Ice Lightning too. So if you have like Renoa out and you're ready like threatened with points of damage, you can swing. They don't block. They take a point. Then Cannoneer, break your Renoa, dull everything, deal something 7K, and just swing with everything else. Like I think this card opens up a lot of potential for like multicolor lightning decks, especially like the fast ones.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that this card is actually really good because if you're playing those kinds of decks, you don't care losing a forward because they're all cheap. So I definitely think that this card is actually really good, depending on like what you put it in.
I'm actually gonna go. So one of the things that I like doing with Mono Lightning, like the Adea loop, where you always leave Adea as a blocker. You know she's gonna die, but you block the point of the anyway, and you just recur her with Zemus over and over when you set up with backups. But I feel like I would be willing to break my Adea off the board if I'm gonna recur her with Zemus to let this go off. So yeah, actually, yeah. Now that you mentioned it, that's. I wouldn't mind doing that, even if it's just not a cheap forward. Like I would do it to her.
Because I mean, like if you think about the alternative, like most mono lighting lists default on Scholar, and then they just pop that deal 2 things 3K. But like I think this makes a good case to replace Scholar.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it's a 2 CP lightning card, lightning backup, like I'm all for it already.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's best in like Water Lightning, and I think that archetype is like a sleeper. And it's proven to be a sleeper in last format too.
I don't think it's going to be a sleeper this format though.
Yeah, it's not going to be a sleeper this format, but
Yeah,
this
a little more dominant
helps it
format,
even
sure.
more though, because like you don't care if a Viking dies, draw a card and kills something for 7K. Like that's amazing to me. So I think I'd give this card a 4.
4. Okay, Steven?
Yeah, I'll agree.
I like the points you guys brought up. You've definitely changed my perspective on it.
I mean, I was on the negative side, so he just changed my perspective on it as well.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thank you, Curtis, for that. And for everyone listening, you got that? Pay attention. No, just kidding. Let's move on. Let's. No, what do we give this? 4, you said?
I give it a 4 because I put it in like a Water Lightning deck I was playing. I might even put in Mono Lightning. So.
Okay. Steven, 3, 4.
I'll give it the 4.
All right.
Because also, like, let's say you play like Rydia. Like, I wouldn't mind playing Rydia, dealing something 3, and then just breaking it right off the bat. So yeah, like something that's a 10K off the board, like.
And then
dull something, right?
And then done something while you're at it, yeah.
That seems good too.
So you kind of took 2 bodies with that as well.
There you go. Plays are being made on here
On
now
the fly.
on the fly. I love it.
Some advanced.
All right, so
advanced.
we can
This is advanced.
real advanced, guys. Good job, great work. You earned it. We can move on though. We're gonna go into Mystic Knight. Standard unit, 2 lightning, tap, put Mystic Knight into the break zone, choose 1 damage forward, break it. This is also like a reprint, right?
Yeah, this is a reprint off of the Opus 1 Black Mage
Black
that does
Mage.
the same exact thing for the same exact cost.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you guys what I've been asking everyone else. What do you think the reason behind this is, like the reprints? Now, do you think it's because they're expecting new players to get into this and it's harder for them to get the older stuff, or do you think there is rotation coming around? I'll start.
I'm going to add a third possibility there.
Please.
Giving title more options.
That's a good one too. Everyone seems
Because
to bring that up.
this is fun.
Yeah, series Final Fantasy V. Good. But if you had to guess though, out of my two questions, would you agree with them, or what do you have to say about that, Steven?
I hope that there isn't a rotation. But who knows? I mean, this may very well be the reasoning why. Maybe like a sign that we could be expecting a rotation here real soon. I feel like the whole new player argument may not be all that valid, because I feel like new players they're still staples in the first couple sets that you're going to play, like Shantoto. So you're going to be pulling stuff for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be pulling that first set for like Minwu's, any of the anthems if you're looking at anthem. They're all first set. So I guess you can look at it that way, but I feel like for new players, they're going to see that these cards are still viable, so they're still going to try and buy the old sets.
Okay. Curtis, what do you think?
So out of the two options that you presented, I would say that this would better support number 2. Like with the last set, they reprinted the evokers and stuff like that, so like automatically people were assuming that rotation was coming in, and I think at some point someone from Square said that they weren't really thinking about rotation. So like this gives more foundation to it, but I don't think that this was a reason. Like I do believe with Steven that this is to boost title, because 5 is a big focus on the set, even with like Bart's being on the box and then Ferris being in water to let you get any 5 category in your hand. So I definitely think it's gonna be with title. And for the last set with the evoker thing, like they did it to help sealed, and they ended up making a sealed tournament for us, that you could actually get an invite out of. So like that kind of supported that. So maybe down the line, maybe they have like a title event for the same kind of idea. That's a possibility. But I don't think it's going to be, I don't think there's a rotation coming anytime soon, in my opinion. And then for the first point of where it might be hard for players to get like older cards, I don't think that's too much of a reasoning behind all these cards, because all these cards are like common cards from previous sets that you shouldn't have a problem getting, like Black Mage, Opus 1. No one's really going to have a hard time getting that card. I know another card in this set that's been reprinted is like the Astrologian effect to reactivate it forward. The answer got reprinted too. Like all those cards are like really old cards that never really were played, period. So
what? Astrologian was definitely played. But
yeah, I mean, like Astrologian was
You offended the Waterman right there.
No, but the Black Mage was definitely played, right, for Lightning. So
I mean, I wouldn't say it was definitely played. Like you played it in like Wind Lightning variants, but like some people play. I know Andy played it in his build in Mono Lightning, but like the general consensus of Mono Lightning, I don't think people really played Opus 1 Black Mage too much. They did before, but like not anytime.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
Like,
I didn't play Opus 3. Like Opus 3 was the last time I played it. It was a 1-up.
I see.
Yeah, but like all these cards are like, I mean, they're good cards, but they're not like hard to get cards. I just think, like Steven said, they're just trying to make title more flavorful with more effects, because like all those backups were like standard units, but they were limited to, I think, Final Fantasy 3, and no one's really playing Final Fantasy 3 title because there's nothing really in that for you. So I just think they're just trying to bring more variety to like different categories for you to actually like have a balanced title format.
Okay, I like that. I'm glad you guys both came up with that too. We can give this one's nothing new, so we can give this a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, let's just move on then. And I think this was the other one. Mid-Previa. When Mid-Previa enters the field, choose one active forward, deal it 3,000 damage. When Mid-Previa enters the field from the break zone, choose one active forward, deal it 6,000 damage. Discard 3 cards. Play Mid-Previa on the field. You can only use this ability during your main phase and if Mid-Previa is in the break zone. Steven, go ahead.
I'm going to change my grade on the last one by half. Bump it up by half. Not a full one.
Okay.
Half.
All right.
Because I didn't know this card existed. But I still think it's too expensive. I think it makes the other card a little better. But I don't see myself trying to build around this. And this is another H. Why? I'm so confused. I feel like somebody accidentally labeled the rarities on these things. It was an accident. Like somebody's cat just walked over the keyboard.
Curtis, what do you say about this one?
So this doesn't change my opinion on the last card too, because obviously this is meant to be played off of the other Cyprevia.
Yeah.
But this card in itself doesn't have any way to break it. Cyprevia can break himself, but this one can't. So when you play this card, you're playing a three drop backup that just deal 3k to something that's active. So that's basically like Ericdia. If you play for breaks at that point, you get to do 6,000. But you'd have to pair this card with like Lulu. You would have to pair this card with anything that actually breaks a backup for it to actually be effective. Otherwise, it's just there to deal 3k, and that's pretty worthless. So I still don't think that Previa is too good, and I don't think that this one's too good either. Discarding three cards to deal 9k on entry is like, I don't know if that's actually worth it, just for one target. But I don't see this card being too useful anytime soon, in my opinion.
Okay. So can we just? Do we want to move on? This one's not.
Yeah.
Unless you guys can give me a reason to stick around.
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. So we'll give it a 1 like we did the last one. What did we give the Sid? A 1
You
also,
give it
right?
a 1.5. I changed it to a 1.5. 1.5 Cactuars.
Yeah, because we're
I'm
not.
still at 1.
Yeah, because we're not. It's not on the radar. It doesn't seem worth it in value wise. Because the other one was 6. This is 3, but you need to do another 6 to get it from the field on its own. So yeah, let's move on.
Let's see if I have a Cactuar here that can rip and just give it half.
2-drop lightning backup Ravager. Choose tap. Choose one category 13 forward you control. It gains haste until the end of the turn. I like this card. This reminds me a little bit of the card that activates knights for water. Clady or something. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, Claudia.
Claudia, right?
Claudia.
And
Claudia,
so this kind of like leads me into. I really think that 13 got a lot of support this set. Curtis, what do you think about this one?
Like, I think it's good. It's definitely good for title, obviously, because everything's gonna be able to get haste. Constructed,
Not so much, right?
Yeah, not so much. Like, maybe if someone wants to make like a tribal ice lightning deck, that could be kind of useful. Because I mean, you could play like the new Sarah, dull a bunch of stuff, and then use this card, give it haste, and then swing for a point of damage. Like, that could be useful.
But would you play this
Whatever.
over like any of the other lightnings, like the legendary?
Yes, here's the thing. Like, I don't think you're playing this lightning over the 5-drop. If you're like, if I'm playing Ice Lightning 13, I am probably going to be playing the 13-2 lightning, the from Opus 4 chicken lightning.
Yeah, the chicken lightning.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna play anything travel with 13, you're playing chicken lightning because that just gives you most value because you're gonna be dulling 2 things anyways.
Of course.
So I don't think that this takes a slot from like lightning at all. And plus, I guess it could be kind of like a Claudie, but at the same time, it's only 13 forwards, so it doesn't have as much versatility as the Claudie does.
As the activating.
Yeah. That, and plus it's just knights and princes, so like there's gonna be plenty of cards with knights and princes as a job, but this one's just 13. So like if you're playing a 13 deck, you probably want to be playing the other lightning instead.
Yeah, I agree in title though, but the only thing I was thinking that would help too is like giving the Mistal Kurel, the ice one. Is it? No, that one's not 13. Swamp Monk. You can activate him and then like give him haste to attack and duel to like the snow does.
Yeah.
Right? So
And then like another cool thing I guess would be this would be the only lightning backup. So if you play like the other snow, the 4-drop snow and pay 2, you can technically just play it back for free from the deck. But I don't even think that's gonna be too useful. It's just something cute, I guess.
damn. So it must be two Cactuars then. If he uses the word cute, then
That's so you know where we're gonna go.
that's what we know. All right, that's fine. We can move on. We're getting close to the end, guys. We got about 4 more. Ramu, choose one forward. EX Burst, summon. It loses 7,000 power until the end of the turn. If Ramu results from an EX Burst, it loses 8,000 power until the end of the turn. This card is nuts. I like this one a lot. So I'll start with Steven. I know you mentioned earlier that you love Ramu and you think the card's great, but do you think, how do you feel about this card, and do you think it's going to replace the 3-drop from the last set?
You're not replacing the 3-drop. If anything, you may add this one in there. But all in all, I think it's where the meta's going to shape. So, like, the fact that Seymour's around, I think I'm adding Raiden back into the summon list. And so I got to look at this. I don't want to exceed more than 12 is when I'm looking at the deck. And I think that's on the higher end for Lightning because you really want to have a lot of forwards. in your 17 backups when I look at the deck. So I'm playing 3 of the 3 drop. One, because you have the haste. It helps with the mirror dull, and you can break a monster. You're playing 3 of the 7 drop Ode because the expert. So that's 6 slots there. And then you're probably putting in Riden now because you can cast it off of the Seymour. So if you're playing this card, I think that the summon slots are very limited because Layla Viking is still a very strong package. And you want Cyclops in there for that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that this card is bad, but I don't think it's good enough to replace some of the summons that we already have because of how the meta is shaped. Like, you would take out the Cyclopses for this, but I don't think this card is good enough to remove this.
Okay. 7,000 power reduction is a lot, even though it's not EX burst. I really like it. It seems a lot stronger, though. So, Curtis, what do you think about this card?
I like this card a lot. And you're right, 7,000 power reduction is like really strong. Like, you don't even have to kill anything with this. Like, that just completely neuters like a lot of problem cards in phases. So like it's super good for that. But going off what Steven said, like summon spaces, in my opinion, are going to be tight, especially with Seymour, with all the experimentation. And at that point, like I said before, everyone's going to default to Raiden because that's just literally the best lightning summon to pair with Seymour to get the most value out of it. So if you kind of think about it that way, most people are playing like 2 or 3 of the 3-drop Raiden already, and I don't think that this card replaces that just because of the versatility that the modal effect gives it. The other options would be like Exodus, but I'd rather have Exodus in the deck to deal with like a board wipe. If you're playing Lightning, you're probably still playing 7-drop Odins for the X Burst. The other flex pick at that point would be the Cyclops, depending on how the format fills out. If it's still a bunch of Layla Vikings, at that point you might want to keep this Cyclops just to wipe everything off the board. But if that turns out not to be the case, like potentially I could see myself putting maybe 2 in the deck. But I probably wouldn't like go overboard with it.
See, because like I don't think I would play 3 rated. I think I'd play 2. And currently in my the summage package that I'm thinking of is like 3 of the most recent with 3 cost, 3 of the 7-drop Odin, 2 Exodus and 2 rated. That puts me at 10. And currently, Layla Viking being so strong, I'm going to be playing the 2 Cyclops. That puts me at 12. I have no room for it in the summon pack. So now it's worth testing, taking out a remove or 2 of the other one for this one. But I think the other one is just so strong, whether it be for the mirror match or the utility of breaking a monster, that it may not be worth it. Not saying that this card is bad, but I don't. The slots that we have right now in the deck are worth.
Okay.
Yeah, space is tight.
Yeah, space is always tight. I think it's really. I think it has potential to be really useful. Like, that's for sure.
It's worth testing. That's for sure.
I can agree with that. All right. So what are we gonna give it? A 3 or 4? Probably a 4, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm not, even because it's worth testing, I would give it a 4. But my opinion stands. High is not as good at what we
have.
What we do.
Okay. All right. Well, we can move on then. Ram's hero. Forward knight, job class knight. Ramza has 4,000 power more. Ramza gains haste. 6,000 power more. Brave. 8,000 power more. Ramza gains first strike. And 1 lightning. Ramza gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. Curtis, take it away.
So, I think this card is actually pretty decent. It's definitely not like the best card in the world, but I think there's a lot of hidden potential to it. Like, being a 1-drop target for Zemus is pretty strong, and then you can always give it haste whenever you bring it out, so you don't even care if it dies, and that's pretty good value for 1-drop. Also, if I think correctly, like maybe you could put this in like the Wind Lightning deck and then play like No or something like that and just kind of reactivate and give yourself 2 activations off of 1 swing. So that could be a thing, but I don't know. Like I think about testing it, but I think it's just kind of best for maybe title.
Okay. Steven?
Another card title needed. Because Tactics needed this.
They did.
I think this card is... I don't think it's all that great and expected. I think I would play with it because it being a 1-cost target for Zemus is pretty sweet. And you can threaten... Like, if you have all the backups open, you can threaten saying, hey, I'm going to kill you pretty much. Because I could buff it up on the spot. So that's pretty nifty. But I think it may not be good enough to have more than one copy in the deck. I'll play around with it, I'll fool around with it, but I don't have hopes for it.
Yeah, like if you ever were to play this, I think it's only like a tech pick. You just play like maybe one.
And out of all the Ramses, though, where do you think this falls on the scale? Like, we have the 6-drop, destroy something if it's over 10, the 3-drop L, and what else? I think we have like 3 Ramses. We have like 4 Ramses.
My favorite Rams is the 4 CP Lightning.
I can count all the Ramses for you. So you got the Legend Ramza, you got the other Legend Ramza that's a 3-drop that boosts all the Final Fantasy Tactics cards.
Uh-huh.
And then you have the Opus VII Ramza that activates a backup, which is a 3-drop, which is a warrior, not a knight. You got the 4-drop Ramza, which is a knight that gains 1,000 for each backup, and then you could pitch a copy Ramza. Then you got the other Ramza, which is a 2-drop, which you give something haste, and you can give something 1K.
That's the one I like.
And then you got this Ramza, so that's about 6 Ramzas in this game. Out of all of them, I'd say that this is maybe second or third worst. I'd say the worst Ramza is a 3-drop that just activates a backup period.
Yeah.
The second worst one is the 4-drop one, just because no one's really playing that anymore.
I like that one.
I like that one.
I did. That was a 2-of in Opus 2. Like, I played that bad boy.
I mean, it was good, like, when this game first started out. And when
that card was good. Opus 2, that card was... Oh.
Yeah, I think this one's definitely like 3rd or 4th for me. I like the 6-drop L, and then second place for me would definitely be the 2-cost give haste or give 1,000. I really like the tech of those cards, but I agree with what Steven was saying though. Like on a full board, like on a full backup line, this card is super threatening. Like give it, like even if it is the Zemus, or I can drop it, it doesn't matter, right? It's just one lightning anyway. So it's like I'm gonna waste 3 CP, make him haste brave, right? Obviously, and then swing. Either if you block, I'm going to 10. Obviously, first strike. Let's go. If I need to. If Lulu's out, I'm assuming I'm always going to be odd too. So it's going to be. I think he's cool. He's definitely nice. Based on the deck, he fits more than the 2-cost one that I like. But I don't know if I prefer this one over the 10K like super threatening 6-drop one.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can, if you wanted to go this route. I mean, it would kind of be weird to do this, but if you played Treon and then you're always having him at hate with Lulu, so that you only are paying 1 or 2. You're paying 1 CP to get him to 6 for the Brave, and then you can kind of rinse and repeat that way.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
think this card is gonna be best for like Water Lightning Knight builds, because he's gonna be super good for that. And there's so many buffs in that deck. And then if you do have Coral out, this is a good target to give Coral, because at that point, if they swing unexpectedly, you just boost it and then just pay like 1 more, and then you're automatically at like 8K. So it'd be pretty decent.
Yeah. So let's say he's what? Are we teching this, or is he cute?
I would say 3 at this point.
Okay.
So I'll make a fun deck with this, playing 3 of them. Now that I mentioned with Cheon, even though you'll consistently get it off. But yeah, I'm gonna rate it a 3. But I am gonna try and make like a fun deck and it'd be like take it a local, so people be like, "What the hell are you playing?" Playing from 1-drop Ramza. Yeah, bro.
Make sure you send me that list, man. I want to see it.
I got you.
We can move on, though. When Dragoon enters the field, choose a forward. If the cost paid to play Dragoon included win CP, it cannot be blocked this turn. That seems cool. Seems legit. I'll start with Steven on this one. What do you think?
It's cute, but you have to also account for, you have to give it haste. So
Well, you can give any forward
yeah,
unblockable. It doesn't have to
unblockable,
be
yeah.
this Dragoon.
Oh wait, what? Let me reread the card. Read
Yeah.
the card.
Choose it, yeah.
It's cool. I don't think I'm playing it, but it's cool.
Is he cute? Is he cute enough, Curtis?
Well, I don't think it's cute enough, but also, since it's Dragoon and you're playing like a Dragoon deck, you're probably going to be playing Lightning Water instead of Lightning Wind.
Yeah.
Also, if you're playing Lightning Wind, most of it's going to be ping damage, so you don't really care too much about unblockable. If you are playing unblockable, you're going to be playing like Adele's and things like that, which already has unblockable built into it. So I don't think that this card is going to be too useful at all. I wouldn't even say it's cute. At this point, I'd say it's a 1.
It's a 1. Hot garbage. Steven? 1 or 2?
Yeah,
1 or 2?
I'll join the crowd.
All right. All right, guys, we're down to the last 2, and these are the starter deck exclusives. So let's look at them. Garland also dropped last night, which is something I guess I didn't talk too much about on the Ramza, but I know you mentioned it, Steven. So this Garland is a knight, which is very good. The knight deck seems to be getting stronger as the sets go by. When Garland blocks, Garland gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. That's every time he blocks. When Garland is put from the field into the break zone, choose 1 forward. It gains 4,000 power until the end of the turn. What do you guys think? I'll start with Curtis on this one.
So I actually like this card a lot, and I was talking to Steven about this one before we started the podcast, the episode. If you put this in Water Lightning Knights, this is super good for the deck because you have Avelia, which is going to be giving 1k buff, but then you have Treon in the deck, which is going to give everything a 1k buff as well. So this guy's going to be at 9k. And then you're going to be playing Cloudy since he's a knight as well. So you just basically swing at this guy, 9k, they're not going to block him. Then next turn when they swing, you just reactivate it with Claudia and then block, and then he gets another 2k on top of that, so he's 11k. And if he ever does die, you just give something else 4,000 and then just swing with that. So I think for Water Lightning Knights, he's really, really good. But for regular Mono Lightning, I probably wouldn't play him at all.
Interesting. Okay.
I definitely wouldn't play him in normal Water Lightning. I think this card would be a lot better if he was yellow. If he was an Earth card.
Really?
Because you can because then you can consistently give him Brave.
Okay.
And he's at the ready again to then block and give himself the buff.
Well, the night engine also goes Earth. You know, you have Delita and what else? I think there's other stuff to Knights that you can.
Yeah,
use.
but I feel like Knights, one of the biggest benefits of Knights is Avelia, and
that and then Tana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you did tricolored? What if we solved that problem when tricolored?
It's worth the try to bring your locals. I mean, I guess I'll probably think of like doing that. Have some touch because I got a lot of deck ideas in my head right now.
Yeah, don't we all, right?
I think it's worth it trying. But also 3 colors it's really your pitching to play things is more critical. You got to also think about what you're going to be drawing next. So I don't know if I'm really playing 3 colors when it comes to Knights.
Okay, that's fair. I absolutely love this card. Actually, I have to think that it's gonna go well in regular Mono Lightning. Actually, just the fact that he gets bigger. So even with the one Lulu buff, he'll go from 8 to 10. And I know Steven mentioned earlier that Lightning in general has a problem being bigger, dealing with more forwards and stuff like bigger bodies in general. Leaving him at 9 when he blocks, and then if we're playing Kurl or even Maki to give him first strike, right? Or no, that's when I'm attacking, I think.
Yeah, Maki's when you're attacking.
Never mind. Anyway, the point is the fact that he gets big enough on his own makes him threatening as it is, and I think Lightning can use some of that. And the 4,000 power too can also help the Ramses we were just talking about. So in the Knights deck too, it's like let's say he does swing and dies, you'll obviously choose either the 1-drop one that we just talked about or the 6-drop one, and that's gonna give him what he needs to go all the way.
Yeah, pop off.
So
And
I don't
then,
know. I like him for that reason.
Yeah, and then building off of what you just said too, like with our previous Mono Lightning list, we played 1 Kane, who was at 9k. So this might be a decent card to replace that with if you really don't want to deal with the switching sides problem.
Yeah. He's cheaper
basically
too.
have
Well,
the
no, he's
same
3, right? They're
idea.
both. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, there you go.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing with Kane is like I was always scared of losing him. So, but dark cards aren't going anywhere because I knew Galdas
is
Oh yeah,
pretty
he's
ridiculous.
amazing.
So dark cards are not going anywhere.
All right, so I'm gonna personally give this one a 4 because if it was me building lightning, I'm gonna throw him all the time, or I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
I'd
to
be
fit
okay
him in.
with that.
I'll give him a 4. I would consider him for sure when I'm building the deck.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he's like a staple in it for this
Nah,
meta right now,
yeah.
but it's worth him to look at.
All right, and the last card is the Golbez, 8 cost Golbez. The cost required to play Golbez onto the field is reduced by 1 for every 5 cards in your break zone. When Golbez enters the field, choose a forward of cost 5 or less in the break zone and add it to your hand. I'll start with Curtis on this one. I don't know if I've been going in the right order this whole time, but Curtis,
It's all good.
it's late.
I'm not too much of a fan of this card, just because like you have to rely on it being like late game for
Dark
it to
Lord.
be cost effective.
Dark Lord.
Yeah, yeah, sure, but like Dark Lord removes from the game, so it
that's
wouldn't
right.
even count towards that.
Bad.
But like, because I mean, if you want this to be even just like a 5-drop, like there has to be 15 cards in the break zone. So that means it has to be at least maybe 10 turns if you don't do anything. If you're just discarding like play cards. So I don't think that this is going to be like too good. And even if you do get it to be like much cheaper, you just get a card back, which is good. But I think there's other cards in Lightning that just does it better, like Zemus. Like I'd rather just play it onto the board than just getting a card back and waiting for me to have a bunch of cards in my break zone.
Okay. He's not even tech worthy, you think? Like the one of maybe like
No, not really.
even in the Zemus play, like the long term?
Nah, I don't think he, because like let me.
Oh no, because Zemus doesn't adjust, right? Like you'd have to
Yeah.
pay 8 for him, right?
Yeah, he's still considered 8 cost in the break zone. The only time, let's see, yeah, I'm pretty sure like the only time he's ever going to be reduced is if he's in your hand. I don't think that extends to the break zone either. But if it does extend to the break zone, then maybe it'd be worthy to Tech 1. But I don't think that's the case.
No, it's not. I remember
Yeah,
the Rams are ruling.
It's not because you're from Zemus effect. It's going to be printed cost, I believe. His effect, this effect is only happening when it's in your hand.
Yeah. Okay. Steven, what do you think about this one?
It's cool. I like what it does. I don't think it's a bad card. But again, my problem with it is that it is a high cost lightning card when you have those slots dedicated to things like Idea. And I'm a huge fan of Idea, as if you know. So I'm playing 3 of those. As you heard me earlier, I talked about the Emperor. Like I'm playing 1 or 2 of that card for sure. And I just don't think there's room in the curve for this. There's no room in the deck for something this expensive.
Okay. So what are we gonna give this? Like a 1 then? I feel like you guys are really off put by this.
I think it's a good card, but there's just no room for it. I'm gonna leave it at a 3. Be neutral with it. 3 Cactors.
I say it's cute, so
It's
it's
cute.
2.
2. Okay. I think I'm gonna stand behind the 2 as well. Well, that wraps up this. I do have a few more questions just to give our listeners a little more perspective on Lightning in general. So I'll start with Steven, actually. Out of all the colors, what do you think is going to best pair up with Lightning? I think we've already talked about it a lot, but I want to hear just one more time for everyone. With Lightning going forward.
Shout out to Taylor Stanky, because water lightning is dope. I just think that those 2 colors complement themselves so well. Whether you're going Dragoons, where you're going wide aggro, I mean Dragoon being a fun deck and all, but if you're going wide aggro with the Steiner, Layla Viking, Beatrix, and all that.
There's a lot there.
And then the Red Mage we reviewed earlier, like the Red Mage we reviewed, the first card, that's a pretty sweet addition to that deck. So, I mean, I think that's probably the best color combination to go along with Lightning right now. Next up, runner-up would be, I think it's a tie between Earth Lightning, Wind Lightning.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because you can go either way with those builds. But I think that definitely the best pair for Lightning X, Lightning Water.
Okay, Curtis, what about you? What card do you think? What color combo is probably going to be the best to go with Lightning?
So I definitely think Water Lightning is the best color combination for Opus 7. The second one, just going purely off of Seymour, I would say Fire Lightning would be the next one, just because 7-drop Bahamut is. No, Phoenix. 7-drop Phoenix is super good. Playing that for reduced CP. And also with Argy and all the stuff like that. Fire probably has like the best tool set to kind of bounce off of those cards that need to be destroyed in your back row. I think there's a lot of hidden potential in that color combination. But aside from that, second one I'd probably say would be like Ice Lightning.
Yep.
With the tie of Earth Lightning. And then I'd say last one would be Wind Lightning, in my opinion.
Okay.
Actually, I totally forgot about Ice Lightning. Ice Lightning got so much better this set.
Yeah,
I was scrub, bro.
I was. It's okay, bro.
I totally forgot about Ice Lightning.
Let me take that one from you. I was gonna say Ice Lightning. I really feel that even with just alone the new 13 stuff, like the new Sarah, and then maybe we might not like Noel or anything, but there's some other cards here that are gonna complement Ice enough that because the whole Doling freezing thing was really strong. I think Opus 5, 4, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we saw a little bit of it in Opus 6 towards the end, I believe. So I think with these new cards, we're definitely going to see a lot more of it. And I think that's going to wrap us up, actually. I want to thank you guys for doing this with me, helping tell everyone about our how we build and how we talk about cards and stuff like that. Is there anything else you guys want to add? I know you have a tournament coming up.
No, I think we pretty much wrapped everything we needed to.
Okay.
When it comes to my list, though, it is going to be Water Lightning, Ice Lightning, and then the other two tied. I'm not putting Fire Lightning there, and the reason being is 'cause Fire Lightning, unlike the Water Lightning deck that you're playing aggro and you're kind of dumping your whole hand, you're reaching like the 3 backup line and the deck feels good with not having cards in your hand because Layla Viking's there. I don't like playing with no hand, and I feel like you're doing that with Fire Lightning. You're just like pitching stuff, and it's just not my play style. So I don't even Fire Lightning.
Hey man,
Change my mind.
That's fair.
Change my mind.
All right, guys. Well, we've rated everything Cactuars, and I think we hit way over, I don't know, maybe 80 Cactuars. That's more than 10,000 needles. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again, Turks, for joining me. And make sure to stop by their channel. Listen to a lot of their stuff. They have great content as well. I'll leave a link in the description below for everyone. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.
Do we only have 5?
Yeah, I think we only have
Seymour is the only 5?
Yeah, for sure.